Hello, hello, welcome, sacred beings. Welcome to another episode here with Sacred Her Story podcast. Today we have an amazing and beautiful sister of mine, LydieOmetto. She is a health and healing facilitator, practitioner, petitioner. She's amazing. She has over 30 years of yoga experience. She's a physical therapist, massage therapist, art therapist, cacao ceremony, an amazing energy worker, amazing shamanic. She uses a lot of shamanic tool. She's an intuitive. She's an amazing friend, amazing sister, just an amazing person who I'm so grateful and just excited for her to be here and share her story. Hello, Lydie. Welcome. And
Oh,
yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much, Tia, for this such a beautiful opening. And for me, every time that I am with you, it's like the sunshine because your smile, your presence. So thank you. And thank you for the honor for me to be here with you and with all your beautiful population here listening to your podcast. And in that note, congratulations for this beautiful podcast that you're putting it together and having amazing guests. And so I feel privileged to be able to be here. And I look forward to contribute to your population and to all the viewers. So thank you.
Thank you, thank you. And the honor is all mine because I get to have you here during this time to share all your magic and your glory. And so I'm just so excited you're here. So let's just jump in because I want you to just, we've been friends for a while, and I learned about some of your story and the journey you've gone through and who you are today. And I told you earlier, you are just this loving energy in my life, and I love it when we get to share space. So where I want to start is with that significant moment or experience in your life that shaped who you are today. What was that?
Ooh, that's definitely a tough question because there are so many beautiful gifts of life that has shaped my life. And and if I went to distill all of that, see, it would be my ability to listen to my inner heart, my ability to listen to spirit, because it was by listening to spirit that I went through all the amazing experience of my life, the ones that I can, sometimes call phenomenal, and the ones that I sometimes call, oh crap, but they are all shaped and connected to who I am today. And let me start in a place that, as you know, and your viewers don't know, will know about me right now. I was born in Brazil and I grew up in Brazil, and not quite close to the ocean, but as a lover of the ocean. So I love the ocean, and the ocean has supported me a lot throughout my journey. And I will share a little bit more as we go through it. But since I was little, I was always in tune with my little voices or my little friends internally, and the energy of nature. Nature has been like my ultimate teacher. So since a young girl, I used to listen to the animals, listen to the trees and the forest and or whatever was close to me. As a matter of fact, in the area that I grew up, it was like sugar cane, coffee plantation, orange plantation. So those plantations also, I had a closer connection, right? My mom's family, they connected. Her dad worked, he was an engineer on sugar. And so we had a very close connection with sugar cane.
Mm.
And that, you know, right now, once I reflect back, is connecting to the aspects of the sweetness of life. But tracing forward, once I complete college, had something that happened in my childhood that I will share later on. But once I complete college, I said, you know what? I'm going back to the States. And I say I'm going back because when I was 16 years old, I did an exchange student in the United States, and that I was a year in Long Island. Oh, and I had the most three beautiful families that uh, they are precious, and I'm still connecting with them until today. So much I learned at that time. But once I went back and I went to school, went to biology school and went to physical therapy school, and I said, I'm going back to the States. So all that by listening internally. And once I left Brazil, I said, sure, I'm going there for 2 years, and then I come back and do my life in Brazil it was something known for me. Well, needless to say, I'm here almost 30 years. And it has been a phenomenal journey. And by listening to my heart. And I came to a small town in East Tennessee, and in the Smoky Mountains area of East Tennessee. That's a precious space, and especially nature. It's so rich in the nature of this area. So more and more, my connection to the nature is start expanding, and by that connection, I start connecting even more with that place of trust internally. So everything that would happen, it was like, okay, let me go internally and see where is calling for that deeper level of trust. Do I do this trip? Do I do that? Do I go here? So things start manifesting because I was saying yes to life. In other words, I was finding inside of me that place of boldness, or that place of, as your beautiful podcast name, that place of sacred self, the sacred her inside of me. And so one thing kept pulling other things. And here I am, many decades after, being able to serve people, students, clients, with the arts of healing and the arts of health, and being the ability to see beyond what we perceive of who we are. Yeah, but that true essence of our soul. So and that is what, within that journey, that's how we met. And I can never say thank you enough for our meeting into a beautiful space of connecting to spirit. So
Yes.
yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. And I love how you said listening to your heart, connecting with your heart, and the whole art of healing. And so for someone, let's say they're going through a lot of hardship, where the trust and the listening tends to be, a bit detached, where would you tell somebody to start in something like
Wow, this is a beautiful question. And definitely that's a question that I receive quite often, especially during this time of turmoil, right? This time of turmoil in our energetic fields in all senses, being individual turmoil, being collective turmoil. And so is that place, what I would say is, how can I, you, us, anybody finding that moment of peace? And to connect it to that moment of peace, what I feel that the most positive with my clients, my students, my family, and especially with myself, is when I take a pause and connect to my breath. Right? Because we remember again that no matter what, if we don't trust the breath, we are no longer in the planet. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So coming back to that, wow, my goodness, let me take a moment of gratitude for my breath. Let me take a moment of gratitude for this life force that is keeping me alive. Is supporting my brain, is supporting my heart, is supporting every and each part of my body, is supporting me to think, and is supporting me especially to choose. So once we connect to the breath, we can support our ability to choose. And once we choose, we can support better the breath, right? So in that point, once we choose each breath at a time, we can calm that craziness of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
And by calming, even if it is for 1 second, just 1 second, if we calm that craziness of the mind or the race rat of our mind, right? We can start seeing and feeling and connecting that we can choose. We can choose turmoil, or we can choose a moment of peace, even if it is in the most center of the chaos, right? As we all know, the analogy of the hurricane, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the tornado, that right in the center is the most peaceful space, while everything else kind of goes crazy. So
Right.
that center is the focus in the breath.
Wow. So, so beautiful that I got a little teary-eyed because it's so true. So true. And you beautifully say it. Centering ourselves with the breath.
Mhm.
Mm. I'm like taking
Mm.
a breath right now. Just
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Because one thing that I can see, I experience in my own self, and I can see with clients and students and friends and everybody in life, right? That once we are within the breath, and once we are in that place of calmness, there is that easiness on the body, the physicality of the body. And so you observe that once you take a breath, your shoulders soft. It's almost like if there is like ah, a
yes.
totally gentle surrender. Again, even if it is for 1 breath or 1 fraction of minutes, right? But by doing that, you are reconnecting with the physicality or the physiology, excuse me, of your body. So you are decreasing the craziness of the heartbeat. The heartbeat is calming. You are decreasing the fastness of energy in your body. The energy is rebalancing. And just by doing those simple things, we are able to be more connected and more centered in our ability to think.
Beautiful. I hope
Yeah.
everyone's listening because there's just pure magic in what Lydie just shared. Now, Lydie, for you to be able to share all this amazing, great information for us to like come back to our breath, what obstacles you kind of have gone through some obstacles. So what obstacles have you faced in you pursuing where you are now? How did you overcome? And can you describe a time when you felt challenged, but ultimately grew stronger from that experience?
Oh, yes. Well, I don't know if all your population, everybody that's all your viewers have the time, because I have a list of those. But I can narrow down for a couple.
We have time. We have time.
I definitely can narrow down for a time. Well, yes, I also, as many people have gone to those places of feeling either not good enough, or feeling, oh, I don't have the time to do this breath stuff, or I don't have the time to calm. I got too much going on. I got the overwhelm. I got family, friends. I got work. I got make the means, make finances. And so everything can crumble like a sandcastle.
Mm.
So I went through all of those things. I went to moments of anxiety. I went to moments of, as I mentioned, overwhelm, and I went to moments of depression, so everything, the flows of life. So there is one thing is that I see is going through the flows of those emotions. And there is another thing, finding those flows and getting stuck on it.
Mm.
Right? When it creates the problem, or when it creates a long-term trauma connected to anything, we all go through so much in our lives, is when we get stuck in that particular moment in life, right? Can be a moment in the emotional aspect, in the psychological aspect, or on the environment aspect. Right? Because as I mentioned before, we all have choices, and how important it is to be true to ourselves, and to be true with that voice that says what is good for me and what is not. So on those moments of down into depression, is always remember that all the waves that we go through, they are like the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
They eventually will pass.
Mm.
They eventually will move if we are willing to.
We are willing
Right?
to,
If we
right?
are willing to, yeah.
It's a
Because
key.
we can, I love the metaphor. We can surf the wave, or we can get an anchor and get stuck in a boat.
Mm.
Right? So we can choose both. So I have done a lot of work in myself to
Mm-hmm.
remember those things, to remember that I have the choice. I have the power to bring more health and well-being for my life. Because once I do that for my life, I can support the ones around me with so much more strength, power, easiness, and love.
Right.
Right? And so, yeah, like you mentioned in the beginning, it hasn't been easy a journey.
Mm-hmm.
But remember that any journey, it is supposed to be in motion,
Mm.
right?
Right.
The where it creates cloggedness is when the lake is stagnated.
Mm-hmm.
But if there is water moving, that
Right.
doesn't create cloggedness. And that's the same with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for me, what it has helped me tremendously, Sia, expanding your question, is
Mm-hmm.
definitely support. Support from teachers, support from family, support from friends, support from colleagues, and that internal support from spirit. So that place of trust. Even knowing that sometimes some of your viewers might feel very down the bottom right now, but that's that moment, is that beautiful moment of an opportunity for transition.
Mm.
Is that opportunity to say, okay, I might be in the bottom, but there is something much nicer, higher up there. I know there is a blue sky, so that we can reach for a friend, we can reach for a book, we can reach for a moment of peace, we can reach for that breath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel that the thing that has supported me the most is remembering a 4-letter word. That's love.
Love. Mhm. Right. Love is
Yeah.
the only real thing
Love,
on
yes,
this earth, in this
love, yeah.
universe.
Yeah. And sometimes it's not expecting love from somebody else or expecting love from a situation. It's our ability to remember to see love in the most simple things, like
Mm,
a bee kissing a flower, you know. You know that there is love there because that moment will create honey,
mm,
you
mm.
know, so that moment will create sweetness.
Yeah.
So it's always us remembering that we also can be that bee in a flower. We
Mm,
also can create that whole sweetness for our own selves,
mhm,
you know, and is one day at a time, is one remembrance at a time. Many times is one motion at a time, right? When we open our hearts and expand, it creates that easiness of, hey, I got a heart here and I can love myself up, right?
yes, yes.
Even if it is for 1 minute, I can love myself up.
Mm,
And then take an extra breath, because that's the way that we are remembering that we are love self and we are loving this life force, this divine that's giving us life.
mm,
You
yes.
know, yeah.
Such beautiful metaphors that you're giving us here, and such gems. I'm like, oh wait, what were the questions? I,
Oh yeah, that's true. What was
yeah,
the
I'm like over here. I feel like I'm getting a coaching session right now because it's like,
question?
breathe. How often do we forget to breathe? You
Mhm.
know, we're so busy running around taking care of whatever it is that needs to be taken care of in this present moment, and we're not even present because we can't even
Yeah,
presently bring awareness to our breath.
yeah.
Right.
And there you said a beautiful word that's magical is the word presence. You know, the breath brings presence to the moment
Mm,
and also feeling the body. Like, for example, I myself right here now, you and your viewers right now, just
mm,
take a moment and notice what is happening on your shoulders
mm,
and noticing if you can drop the shoulders a little bit more. And if you can drop the shoulders a little bit more, you might even be able to feel that space right behind your heart on your mid back. And noticing that place also soften. The place in front of your heart softens. Even your belly, the belly that, my gosh, our belly does so much for us. By softening the shoulders, we can soften the belly, enhancing our digestion, enhancing our elimination, enhancing our reproductive system, enhancing everything for the circulation in our whole body.
mm,
As we remember that for many of you that have heard that before, that the belly is the second brain, right?
mhm,
So many times the brain here, the head is racing, racing, racing. But if you soften the belly reminds the brain to soften and vice versa.
mhm,
So presence. How is my belly feeling right now? And then I calm and I remember to breathe and I
mhm.
soften the mind. Isn't that cool?
So delicious. Yes, like we even got a little breath work right in here. You never know what's gonna happen in these.
Never, right?
Right. I'm over here. Yeah, share your story. And here you are coaching. And I just love it because it's just all in divine work, right? This is a call that in this episode, this is what was calling, is to be present and to get back to our breath. So with that, Lydie, can you share with us? Because I shared you do this and this and this, the physical therapy, massage therapy. body work, yoga, you do cacao ceremony, you do so many things. And I've even witnessed and experienced firsthand of your energy work. But can you share like what else, what it is you provide and what it is that you do for our audience so that they can find you and understand your work and connect with you?
Thank you, Sia. I definitely, yes, I love to support people, right? So I have worked my life to create this potpourri, I would say, of tools that I can bring it into the table. So, and I bring it all the tools accordingly to what someone needs. I might bring a view of their body. What is their body? How is their body moving? Or if they have a pain in the knee, it might be not only the knee, but might be that they are having a problem in stepping forward in their life, right? Or if they're having that pain on their right side, maybe they are having a, how can I say, rift with uh, the male energy being within themselves or around them. Might have a father trauma or a partner, male partner trauma or something, or a son part. So because our right side is more our masculine side, our left is more our feminine. So I connected to the physicality. I also connected to breath work to bring that awareness from inside. Many times, not many times, pretty much all the time, we carry all that we have done in our lives in ourselves, the memory within ourselves. So many times, if a particular situation, and I don't like too much the word trauma, so I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use a situation or an event that brought sadness or brought discomfort for that particular person. The breath will support them to bring it back the memory or to bring it back tools to be able to process, even if it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. It's in the memory of the body. So we can use breath work, we can use mobility, we can use different aspects of yoga, right? Because yoga also connects to the body, mind, and soul, body, mind, and spirit. The cacao ceremonies also bring in that support of mama cacao, that it is a plant medicine, very gentle, and is a very heart opening medicine. Yeah. And so in a circle of cacao, we also connected to that ability of remember to open to life, remember to be ourselves and speak our truth and know that there is a circle of support. Yeah, when we do our circles is very sacred. So I also, with the energy medicine, I also connected to, because as we know, we have the physical body, the mental body, the emotional body, and we have many subtle bodies that some calls the spiritual body, some calls energetic bodies. So we can connect it to all those different layers of messages through the bodies that's not seen through our normal physical eyes, but is seen through our internal eyes. So I also I have the knowledge and the support and the spiritual guidance to be able to support someone to see beyond their physical eyes, right? And to be able to support in that perspective. Like, for example, I like to bring the analogy so people can understand a little better. If you are walking in the woods, yeah, and you are close to a tree that's really alive and really blossoming with flowers, with fruits, you can feel the energy of that tree. You can feel the vitality, the aliveness. Yeah. And that's also is what we express in ourselves. we also, that tree can also feel our energy. So we are energy in motion. Yeah, so that's why we express so much. So I kind of, in a session, I kind of join all of that. And I, again, like I mentioned in the beginning, I love to remind people that, and to support them and to teach them how to see beyond what they can see, how to feel beyond what they can feel, and how to understand who they really are and their own innate abilities. We all have abilities out of wazoo, you know? And so
Right.
it's just learning and remember to trust in our heart, to trust in ourselves. And that's what I love doing, remind people that they are awesome.
Oh my gosh, so beautiful. Oh, so beautiful and so potent. And to remember and to trust in our hearts, we got to come back to the breath, remembering our breath, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did
Mm-hmm.
I get that right?
Yes, you
Looking
did.
for affirmation
Breath,
here.
breath,
Breath.
presence. Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
My goodness, Lydie, everything you just shared has been so amazing and was more of telling us to slow down, right? Slow
Yeah.
down and take a moment to be present, to
Mm-hmm.
listen to our hearts and what it is we need, and how often do we just let ourselves be pulled in every which way,
Mm-hmm.
right? And something that's so beautiful about you is you're so connected. It's like I could see you walking in the woods, and each step, your even your footsteps, like it's connected to the ground. Your energy is connected to the trees all around. The animals that are near, they probably feel, and the butterflies probably come on your head. So I can totally see that with you energetically, and it's just that sense of slowing down. I mean, I remember when you told me about the snakes. Even the snakes come to you and they're looking at you like mama, with all your oozing love, you know.
And
Yeah.
thank you, Sia. But I want to add one thing,
Yes.
for especially for the viewers. I also have lived in a city that for me to go to work at that time, I had to take a bus, take the subway, walk. So you would take an hour and a half to get to work. And the work was in an apartment in a building that it was on the 10th floor of the building. When I was like doing my work in physical therapy at that time in a big city, I was doing an internship. And so, even knowing that was a chaotic city, at that time was the third biggest city in the world. Uh,
Mm.
right nowadays, I think that it's down to the sixth, but at that time was the third. Was São Paulo, Brazil,
I was gonna say
and
something.
São Paulo, Brazil. Yes.
Mm.
So even in that time, as I was observing people in the subway, in the bus, walking in the traffic, all that chaos, it was like even there had always moments to stop, breathe. And the old say, smell the flowers, even if it is just in our imagination.
Mm.
Yeah, because no matter what, we, you, me, your viewers, we all are creating every moment, every thought within ourselves. So why not creating some extra flowers in the middle of all the other things?
Oh my goodness, that was so beautiful and a great reminder. We didn't really get to step into your story because you said you were going to share something a little bit later because your background, where you came from is so incredible, especially just coming out here to take a chance to follow your heart. to someplace that's unfamiliar than your hometown. But Sao Paulo is a whole nother beast. If you could live anywhere, if you could live in Sao Paulo, you could live anywhere. I visited Sao Paulo and I was like, not one of my favorite places, but I love northern Brazil, Bahia. I loved Bahia. But I'm so grateful and thank you. Obrigada você, muito, 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 for allowing us to celebrate your unique journey of your truth, your love, and your sacredness. I felt like you gave so much more to us with your words, your loving words, and your beautiful wisdom to pass on to us. And people, you can always go back and set this as a reminder and breathe with us in that little section. It only takes that short little, 1-2 minutes to breathe in, to just center, right? Be back in our bodies. Is there anything else you would like to share with us, Lydie, before we close?
First, I want to say again, thank you, Sia. And as you and this beautiful podcast is bringing so much support and love to this planet. So thank you for doing so. And your viewers are so fortunate to have you and all your guests. And definitely to remind everybody that it really does, even knowing that sometimes life can be so chaotic, but it really does takes one breath to change. In one breath, we can change our lives because we can change our perspectives. And once we change our perspectives, we widen our ability to see all the gifts that life has to give and has provided to each one of us, from the sunrise to the moonrise to the meteor showers that's happening this weekend, to everything, to the beautiful Lionsgates that's today. So it's taking a pause. Remember to be present. Feel your body, feel the beat of your heart, feel your breath, and find that space of gratitude.
Deliciosa.
Linda.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us for another episode of Sacred Her Story podcast, where she is sacred her, sacred, highly exalted rebel. It is saying yes to ourselves and trusting in our own inner wisdom. Thank you, everyone. Obrigada você, in Portuguese. And thank you, Lydie. Obrigada muito.
Thank you. Obrigada, Sia.
All right. Ciao, ciao.